Chapter 1. The Power She Never Expected. Your Silence. What if I told you the most powerful response to heartbreak was to say nothing at all? She left. Maybe she said it was for the best. Maybe she offered some vague excuse like, I just need space. Or maybe she just vanished, ghosted you like everything meant nothing. One minute she was sharing dreams with you, lying on your chest, telling you that no one made her feel safer. The next minute, she's posting sunsets with cryptic captions, entertaining strangers in her DMIs, acting like you never existed, and you're left standing in the ruins of what once felt unbreakable, replaying every conversation like a detective trying to find what you missed. Where did it go wrong? What could you have done differently? Should you call her? Text her? Show her that you still care? That's what most men do. They panic. They reach out. They try to fix it. But here's what the Stoic man knows: the man who masters himself instead of chasing validation. Silence is the most deafening sound she ever hear. Not because you're ignoring her, not because you want revenge, but because you finally understand. The truth, chasing her doesn't bring her back. Walking away in silence makes her question everything. Psychological setup. Why silence works there. A brutal but liberating truth hidden in all of this. People don't value what they don't fear losing. When you go silent, not out of spite but out of strength, it creates an emotional vacuum she didn't prepare for. She expected the texts, the apologies, the pleading, the validation. But instead, you vanished. No message, no story views, number. Half-hearted attempts to stay in her orbit, and that is when the shift begins. Suddenly, she's not sure if you're heartbroken, we're healed, not sure if you're waiting, or already moved on. She begins asking herself questions she never had to ask before. Why hasn't he reached out? Is he already with someone else? Did I mean nothing to him? Did I misjudge everything? And those questions, they multiply, they echo. They keep her up at night, not because you did something, but because you stopped doing everything. This is the paradox most men never understand. Your silence doesn't make her forget you. It makes her feel your absence like a ghost she can't shake. Enter the Stoic path. Emotional control and chaos. Silence isn't avoidance. Silence is discipline. It's the rejection of desperate energy. It's the refusal to beg for crumbs from someone who chose to walk away. A Stoic doesn't chase someone who left. He lets them walk and watches the silence do the talking. Because when you speak after rejection, every word feels like weakness. But when you vanish with strength, every moment of silence becomes a mirror she can't stop looking into. She doesn't remember the guy who texted her paragraphs. She remembers the one who said nothing and still haunted her. This is where emotional control becomes magnetic. You're no longer the man begging to be seen. You're the mystery she now craves to understand. What happens when you react emotionally? Let's pause and be brutally honest. What happens when most men get broken up with? They spiral. They text, call, plead. They write long emotional messages at 3 a.m., trying to explain themselves. They rewatch old stories, stalk new ones, try to find signs of hope. But here's the harsh truth. Every time you reach out after she leaves, you teach her that her absence has more power than your presence ever did. You confirm that she controls the story. You become predictable, available, weak, and weakness never attracted anyone. Even if you get her back this way, it's built on instability. You'll always feel like you're trying to prove yourself. You'll always live in fear of her leaving again. That's not a relationship. It's emotional servitude. A Stoic doesn't beg to be loved. He becomes so grounded in his own value that love finds him or it doesn't. Either way, he remains whole. The unexpected power shift. This is where the game flips. While most men are reacting emotionally, you quiet still, composed become the one she thinks about. Not because you're trying, but because you've become a question mark she can't answer. Why isn't he trying? Did he ever love me? Did I mess up? Is he better without me? The more she can't figure you out, the more her mind obsesses. Why? Because mystery triggers dopamine. It's the same psychology used in gambling and social media. Unpredictable. Rewards spark the brain's strongest cravings. When she can't predict your next move, you become the emotional jackpot she keeps trying to hit. You go from being the guy who loved her to being the one she might have lost forever. That's not manipulation. That's magnetism, a MERN through self-respect. Final thought for Chapter 1 and a cliffhanger. So here you are. She's gone. You've said nothing. She hasn't heard from you, seen you, or felt your presence. And now the silence isn't just silence. It's power. It's the loudest thing in her world. It's making her wonder if she made a mistake. It's making her question if you've already become someone she can't reach anymore. And here's the kicker. What if you really are becoming that man? What if your silence isn't just a strategy? What if it's the start of your rebirth? Because Chapter 2 isn't about her. It's about you. And the transformation that begins once you stop trying to win her back and start winning yourself back. Chapter 2. Attention is currency. Why taking it back destroys her illusion you. Want her to regret losing you? And stop giving her what she never earned her attention. Let's talk about something most men never realize until it's too late. Your attention is not free. It never was. And the moment you start treating it like it's disposable, it's giving it away to someone who disrespected you, ignored your value, or walked away without a second thought, you become your own worst enemy. Because here's the truth no one teaches us. Attention is emotional currency. The more you spend it on the past, the poorer your future becomes. She knew exactly how much you were giving her. She felt the energy. Every time you paused your day to check if she texted back, she felt the weight of your heart when you double texted her just to check in. She felt the obsession every time you watched her stories even after she left you behind. And most of all, she felt your presence tolerant, predictable, always there. It's the modern addiction. Being seen. We live in a world that's addicted to attention. Likes, views, follows. It's all engineered to keep people feeling validated. And when you keep giving your attention to her after she's gone, you're not just feeding her ego, you're reinforcing the illusion that she still has power over you. Every view, every like, every tiny digital breadcrumb is her confirmation that you're still watching, you're still emotionally tethered, you're still waiting. And guess what? She doesn't have to text you back. She doesn't have to miss you. She doesn't have to feel the consequences of her decision, because your attention kept her warm while you were freezing in silence. Stoic perspective. Guarding your inner fortress. The Stoics had a simple rule. Focus only on what you can control. You can't control her decisions. You can't control her feelings. You can't even control whether she regrets losing you. But what you can control is where your attention goes. Because where your focus flows, your energy follows. And your energy is sacred. Think about this. If you had $10,000 and someone disrespected you, would you keep giving them stacks of cash? Would you tip someone who insulted you, betrayed you, and walked out? No. Then why do we tip people with our attention when they've done far worse? Psychological trigger. The power of withdrawal. Modern psychology has a term for this. Reward deprivation. The brain is wired to crave whatever it was previously rewarded with. And when that reward suddenly disappears, withdrawal kicks in. This is what you're doing when you go silent. But more than that, this is what happens when you take your attention away. It triggers her curiosity first, then confusion, then anxiety, and finally, obsession. Why? Because she no longer feels seen. And for someone who's used to being the center of your world, that emptiness hits like a void. The trap most men fall into. Here's where most guys fall apart. They stop talking, but they don't stop watching. They think they're holding frame, but they're still checking her posts, reacting to her stories, asking mutual friends what she's up to. You're feeding the system without even realizing it. That's not stoicism. That's subtle desperation. A true Stoic doesn't just disappear physically, disappears energetically. He reclaims every ounce of attention he once gave away and reinvests it. Not into chasing, not into revenge, but into evolution. What happens when you redirect that attention? Now we flip the switch. You stop giving her your attention. You stop wondering what she's doing, who she's talking to, what she's posting instead. You pull all of that energy inward. You pour it into the business you've been procrastinating, the body you've been neglecting, the discipline you've abandoned, the power you forgot you had. And something strange happens. You stop needing closure. You stop caring about who she's with. You stop fantasizing about getting her back because you found something more addictive than her validation: progress. Every time you read a book, hit the gym, meditate, journal, build, you start to feel it. Self-worth, clarity, fire, psychological switch. She starts noticing it now. Now she starts feeling it. Not because you messaged her, not because you made her jealous, but because your absence is no longer just silence. It's success. You've become scarce, not just in proximity, but in presence. And the woman who once felt like she had you wrapped around her finger, she's now wondering, why doesn't he care?
Yes.
Has he moved on? Is he doing better without me? And let me tell you, that feeling,